Could you love the parts of yourself that you have most shown hate or dislike or frustration to? And what might happen if you chose to show more love to those parts of yourself? Hi, I'm Crystal Tottenham from Crystal Clear Coaching, and here on this channel we like to tune in to ourselves. So you tune into you, and I'll help by tuning into me and hopefully inspiring you to, you know, really talk to yourself, the best person in your life, by the way. Even if you don't believe it yet, you are. There's no one that's going to be with you your entire life but you. So, may as well make them the best person that do all the things that you love to do and find ways to love the parts of yourself that maybe in the past have frustrated you, maybe are currently frustrating you, because we're here in it right now, aren't we? And if we weren't in it, then wouldn't need my help because you're already doing it. So anyway, it's the parts of ourselves that we get frustrated by, that we are putting down or hating on ourselves for. Those are the parts that most need our loving energy to shift, to show what's there that's holding us back. Because we all have multiple parts, many parts, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands or even millions of parts within us, all created in moments of time in our history, in our personal history. And I'm just talking about like what's called parts work in neurolinguistics programming. And each of these parts was created in a moment in time that felt and they felt needed to show up in the way that they did because it led to us surviving, or it was to lead to us surviving. And because we then survive it, then that part goes on to continually help us find similar situations that feel like that first scary situation where we felt like we might not survive, and say, well, we survived this way that time, so we're going to do it the same way. And maybe that has you throwing a tantrum every time. Because again, these parts the root of them starts when we're children. So throwing a tantrum was maybe how we survived, got the attention from the adults that we needed in our life as a child to look after us, because we couldn't do it for ourselves, especially, the younger we are as toddlers or a baby. We need that community in order to survive. So whatever way we found to get the attention of maybe just only one or maybe two people, maybe a few people that were your caregivers in different shapes and forms at those ages, that was how you learnt that's the pattern that you learnt in order to survive. And that part of you is super loving, because it just wants you to live and survive. And what's more loving than that? Wanting their human to survive. So, unfortunately, these parts of ourselves set the bar pretty low. Like, if we're breathing, if we're alive, tick, job done. And that's great. We definitely want to be alive. And often these patterns that we create from the perception of that younger version of ourselves, the younger versions, as it becomes more of a hyperstabilized belief and a pattern, they are running the show in a way that they don't need to run it anymore, and blocking us, sabotaging us from actually going for what we most want in this world. But they do it feeling like they're doing what's best for us, because this is how we've survived before, so we don't know if it's survivable. Something feels uncomfortable, so we've got to take over the steering wheel inside this person's system to make sure that we're driving it with our pattern that triggers the whole human system and vessel to do things that way that we learnt, that's had us survive this whole time. But we don't need to think about the fact that it's keeping us from our dreams and what we want to contribute to the world, what we want to create for ourselves and our families and friends around us, our communities around us. That doesn't matter. We survived. So, tick, we survived. And I say this all very lovingly because, I'm so grateful for those smaller parts of me, those younger parts of me, I should say, for loving me enough to make sure that I stayed in that love and belonging and, you know, survived. I'm very glad to be 37 years old and still here, so, and I do dare to set the bar higher than just surviving. I want to thrive. Don't you want to thrive too? Don't you want to be able to go for what excites you? Don't you want to be open and vulnerable enough to let yourself into beautiful friendships, beautiful relationships, um, beautiful partnerships in business? Or do you want to just feel so scared from that younger version of yourself that whenever you feel the discomfort of trying to do something differently, you run away from it and you hide? I sure hope not. Now, logically, we can understand, yes, I want to overcome this thing. And these loving younger parts of ourselves often stop us and have it show up as self-sabotage. And, to the outside world around us, we might look like, oh, that's just Crystal. She'll keep talking about wanting to do that thing. And she'll do maybe 5% of it. Maybe she'll get around to it eventually, but starting to not believe it. And look, hey, I used my own name right there because I'm calling myself out. I've been very open and honest to my own detriment on how I have been sabotaging myself and holding myself back. And I still find myself continually doing it, like filming this late at night again, but still filming it. And I have to remember how far I have actually come, because showing up here, even showing up online in any capacity, even weekly, in a meaningful way that's actually of service to others, was more than I felt capable of. Well, I felt capable of it, but more than I was showing that I was capable of, let's say that, a year ago. And now I've been showing up here daily doing videos between 5 and 40 minutes long, just talking about how you can tune into you, from all the beautiful things I've learnt through my journeys, through coaching and life experience and books I've read, and just being an overall nerd about the whole situation. And I'm really grateful to myself for that. And I know that there's things I need to do more consistently to actually amplify this reach, things I need to set up in order to make this a viable business, so that I'm not in survival mode with it and having it be something that, yes, I consistently show up here daily, but I'm, doing my muggle job to just make ends meet, and then wishing I could invest more in equipment or setting up a website or insert thing here, but just never quite having enough to feel like I can really go for it, and that's kind of the uncomfortableness I'm sitting in right now. That's kind of comfortable, but we have to notice, um, you know, for me, I just get overwhelmed as to what is my next uncomfortable step, because I've researched all the potential steps to the nth degree, to the point that I have lots of great ideas, but I just need to choose one and go for it with the capacity that I have at any given time. And I'm so scared of choosing one thing that I just don't keep not choosing what to work on, where to focus my attention outside of these daily videos. And I keep not making that decision, and then I keep putting it off and then kicking the can down the road. And so it's making me feel a little disheartened, a little stagnant, and I also know I will get there. But yeah, there's serious parts conflicts within me that are saying, "Oh, that's unsafe. We can't do that." Oh, we can't do that yet. Or we've got to have all X, Y, Z set up before we set up this thing, And lovingly, I call them out. Now, I got this beautiful rose quartz crystal a few years ago when I don't know, felt called to it, and I just whenever I was having a bit of a hard moment, I would hold it to me and hold it to my heart and just breathe with it to show myself love, to show those parts of myself love with whatever was going on for me. And then oh gosh, let's think. It was the start of 2024 when my darling grandmother started. Oh, she had a mini stroke and ended up in hospital, and it was the start of a bit of a health journey for her that then she didn't. She survived for a good year and a half, slightly longer, beyond that. And she had her ups and her downs, and she had some really great moments in that. But it was really hard. And anyway, near the start of it, when I was visiting in hospital, I brought this to her and I kept it with her. I gave it to her to hold on to when she was going through a hard time, to know that her granddaughter Crystal was with her and giving her love. This is a little bookmark from her memorial. It says, "I'll always keep a bookmark on your page." It's one of my favorites. And then shares her life and her name. Yeah. And I guess I just needed to share that because I'm using this as a prop. So this already meant a lot to me, just personally. And then I gave it to her, fully not knowing if it would ever come back to me and being okay with that. And then when I visited home recently, my mum had collected all the things and helped pack up her house when she passed, and her home, and so I got it back, and now I have it as a symbol of her, and her love, as well as me and my love for myself, and holding space for just love in general. And I am very grateful to have this symbol with me. She was the best grandma in the world. She was wonderful. So she was on my mum's side. My dad's side, my nana was a nana. So this is grandma. So it's okay that I say she's the best, because obviously I don't want to be partial to to anyone in my family. I love them all equally. But my grandma, I'd made up a nickname for her when I was way too old to be making up silly nicknames, but that's just my vibe. And it was called, I called her Grimmin, and she loved being called Grimmin. It was like Gremlin without the L, but Grimmin. I don't know where I came up with that. I just did, and it became our thing, and it was just me calling her that, no one else in my family. So it was fun. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, talking about my lovely grandma, but I had so much love for her and all my family, but especially her, because she was a matriarch of this huge family, and she just brought so much joy and happiness and giggliness to the world. And I just really appreciate that about her, and she still lives on within us all. And yeah, I have heard in recent years how there is a part of us that is actually existing in the eggs in our grandmother. The egg that would then become our mother has a part of us already in the grandmother. So just being a family dynamics, family systems coach as well, family constellations enthusiast. I've been trained in it, but I can't facilitate it. Let's put it that way. I know the importance of the dynamics of family systems, but also just the energetics as an energetics coach of how our families can affect us, but also just hearing that scientifically, part of me was in my grandmother, part of you was in your grandmother. It makes sense. The body keeps a score. There's parts of us that were there with them when they were experiencing whatever they were experiencing, the highs and the lows. So there's parts of them that might be affecting our life. So any way that I choose to heal and love myself, I'm honoring my ancestors that came before me, my family system. I'm helping heal for the whole family system. And look, hey, I didn't mean to get this deep into all this tonight, and I will call it soon. But my point is, there's a loving part of maybe them that they couldn't heal in their lifetime. And I'm not saying this is specifically for my case. I'm not even talking about anything to do with my darling Grimmin. I just think there's parts of us that were created before we were even born to a degree, and there's if the previous generations weren't able to show them love and bring light to them and shift them, quite often they're perpetrated by the next generation and the next generation. So by me choosing to love and move through what I find hard, where I sabotage myself, any bad ways I have of showing up, I can help heal that for future generations, whether they are my biological um, children or not, or grandchildren onwards. I can still help heal future generations, and I'm here for that. I'm here for that. Just showing love to those parts. Okay, I'm going to call it there. I feel like there might be more to expand on this conversation tomorrow, but we've talked for long enough today. So much love, and much love, see, and I will see you tomorrow.